question. Again, depends on the size of the company and the jurisdiction and the sort of legal toolkits that you have to be able to in fact do that. But, this is a process that should be ongoing. Just looking at one point in time, typically when companies do this is running into the AGM, isn't really sufficient because shareholders don't operate like that. So if they're building positions, they're talking to investors, they're doing this over a long period of time. So I think companies have to start looking at shareholder risk in the same way they look at competitive risk, product risk, and everything else. Because what ultimately they've got is something that can evolve slowly or very quickly, but over a period of time. And that's then important for the companies to be aware of who's there holding the shares, which way they're likely to go should the situation arise, who's like to sell, who's like to turn against management, where is it likely to change as the shareholder base changes itself? Are the supports going to be there? Are they going out and talking to people ultimately that will go against the company in terms of their sort of historical voting? That's an ongoing process. So I think, for most companies would take a deep dive into looking at who's there, who's buying, who's sold, and where the voting power is and support, typically on a quarterly basis. That allows you to pick up the trends that are happening. I think if just one point in time, you don't see any trends really. So I think it's a process that sort of needs to be conducted on a fairly regular basis.